evening, I'm Roger Mudd. Tom Brokaw is on an assignment. The Reagan White House tried again today to get control of the spreading and emotional controversy over the president's trip next month to Germany. It tried to get control, but again it failed. After an appeal from the chairman of the U.S. Holocaust Commission, the president refused to cancel his scheduled visit to a German military cemetery. Chris Wallace reports on the dramatic confrontation at the White House.
Our tradition commands us, quote, to speak truth to power. So may I speak to you, Mr. President, with respect and admiration.
It was a remarkable scene. Elie Wiesel, concentration camp survivor and author, talking to the president in the White House as a teacher would to a student, instructing Mr. Reagan why he should cancel his visit to a Nazi cemetery where SS troops are buried.
May I, Mr. President, if it's possible at all, implore you to do something else, to find a way, to find another way, another site. That place, Mr. President, is not your place. Your place is with the victims of the SS.
Wiesel said he understood Mr. Reagan's desire to improve relations with Germany, but that the horror of the Nazis transcends diplomacy.
The issue here is not politics, but good and evil. And we must never confuse them, for I have seen the SS at work, and I have seen their victims. They were my friends, they were my parents. Mr. President, I have seen children, I have seen them being thrown in the flames, alive.
This all took place because Mr. Reagan had a long scheduled commitment to give Wiesel a congressional medal. Beforehand, in a private Oval Office meeting, the president explained that he meant to cause Jews no pain in going to the cemetery. But in public, there was only a veiled reference.
Today, there is a spirit of reconciliation between the peoples of the Allied nations and the people of Germany. That spirit must grow and be strengthened.
Despite all the president's statements about going to the cemetery, a top official says Mr. Reagan called West German Chancellor Kohl this morning and suggested an alternative site. But the official says Kohl insisted the president come to the cemetery. Reagan aides say they'll try to take some of the sting from that visit by holding the ceremony as far as possible from the graves of SS troops. They also announced that the same day the president will visit the concentration camp at Bergen-Belsen. But for Wiesel, all that mattered was that the president will go to the cemetery. He said he was satisfied.
I'm romantic, I'm very romantic. I thought that since I will make this plea to him, I will implore him that he will get up and say, okay.
Officials here are starting to blame this mess on the German chancellor, saying that if Mr. Reagan were to cancel, it would only add to Kohl's political problems in Germany. The argument that Elie Wiesel made here today is that on a moral issue, all that is beside the point. Chris Wallace, NBC News, at the White House.
The Reagan administration also says the Kohl government of West Germany assured the White House that a visit to the Bitburg Cemetery would not embarrass the president, that it was clean, so to speak. But as Stan Bernard reports this evening, the ghost of the SS still haunt the Bitburg graveyard.
Despite the president's change of mind on going to a concentration camp, this quiet 50-yard square plot of land is looking like the Reagan administration's biggest political embarrassment. Since people rarely speak ill of the dead, the soldier cemetery visit seemed harmless. But 41 of these gravestones mark the bodies of the hated SS, Hitler's elite troops. Some residents of Bitburg said, and the president said he agreed, that these SS were only young soldiers dragged into the war against their will, who paid the ultimate price. But that was not the case. Some of the SS graves are not of draftees who were so-called innocent victims of Nazism. We did a search of service records in Berlin and found at least 2 who were volunteers for a crack SS infantry division. The archives of Nazi hunter Seaman Wiesenthal identified Eugen Schuler as a member of the notorious security service, which included the Gestapo and concentration camp guards. Those same archives identified SS Sergeant Franz Bengel as a receiver of the German Cross and Gold in the name of Adolf Hitler for killing 10 American soldiers. Together with President Reagan, the people of Bitburg are caught up in the controversy.
I mean, I do think it's a mistake of him coming here and honoring this cemetery if these SS guys are lying here.
But that was the minority view. Most are eager for the president to visit the cemetery.
President Reagan mit seinem Besuch.
He's honoring not only the dead of Bitburg, but those who fell in all battles of the Second World War.
There was also a bitterness about the Jewish reaction to the planned visit. One called it the work of the Zionist lobby. Another said, why does everyone have to ask the Jews for permission to act? The words sounded as though, for some, little has changed. Stan Bernard, NBC News, Bitburg.
Coming up tonight on this broadcast, Brian Ross reports on the latest